ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Ron, along with my fellow rebel, Dr. Jerry. Welcome to the Real Health Rebellion Radio. For too long, people have been managed, not healed. Profits have been put above people. That ends here on the Real Health Rebellion Radio.
Well, good to be here, Ron. You know, it's about time we start saying what so many doctors are thinking, but they're afraid to say. Medicine, as it's practiced today, is broken, not by accident, by design.
Absolutely. And we're talking about a movement, ladies and gentlemen, where science meets spirit, where suppressed solutions are brought into light, and where sovereignty is reclaimed.
Well, yeah, the so-called healthcare system has become the third leading cause of death. Let that sink in. We've turned disease management into a $1 trillion business.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for people to wake up, realize that the real health revolution is not coming from big pharma. It's coming from the grassroots, from people who are taking back control of their biology, their energy, and their freedom. So with that,
well, go ahead. You know, Ron, what really gets me is how much healing technology and ancient wisdom we already have, but it's ignored and censored.
And that is what's so sad about the whole thing. And that's what the show is about. We're not just exposing what's broken, we're showcasing what works. We're talking with innovators, researchers, healers, and everyday people who took back their health without the system's permission.
Exactly. The body is electric, and we're frequency-based beings, and our cells communicate through light and vibration, not just chemistry. Yet modern medicine still treats us like a bag of chemicals.
Exactly. Well said. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're the two rebels, Dr. Ron and Dr. Jerry. Welcome back. And we expose the failures of the sick care system and shine a light on the truth. And now today we have with us Professor Brian Peskin, a groundbreaking author, an investigator, and one of the world's leading specialists in essential fatty acids. His research has challenged conventional wisdom, uncovered hidden truth, and given people the tools to reclaim their health and vitality. You probably have read his books. You've seen his work cited across the globe. And now you get to hear directly from him. We're streaming live now on YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. And Dr. Jerry, do you have anything to say about the great Professor Peskin?
Well, the professor has been one of my heroes since I've been using his product now for about 7 years. And all I can tell you is that it really works.
Thank you.
It does. And with that, Professor, we're going to talk today about what you know best. Okay, we're going to talk about the essential fatty acids.
Yes.
We're connected, how what kind of scandal has been involved with them. And we're going to dug deep. And if we don't get through it all today, we will not, we're not going to let it end there. We'll come back and do it again. So welcome. And
thank you.
Are confused. So go ahead, sir.
What do you have for a question?
Well, basically, how did you get involved with the omega-6? I know you had an incident with your wife with type 1 diabetes. Was that the turning point?
She became type 1 doing everything right and exercising, high-carb diet. This is, 25, 30 years ago. And goes out to California for a big doctor, Whitaker was his name, had a big diabetes clinic, came back, blood sugar levels were worse than when she went. So it was like, Brian, you're a good science guy. I come from MIT, electrical engineer by training, I can think. So it's like, I don't know what to do. The doctors are making me worse. So luckily I'm in Houston. MD Anderson has one of the top 10 medical libraries in America, and they were kind enough to let me use it for about 4 years. And it was, my goodness, the science is on the left. what everybody's being told is on the right. For example, high carb diet at a nutritionist in charge at a hospital is telling you to eat 50 teaspoons of sugar a day based on the carbohydrate level. It was unbelievable. 1,200 calories a day of carbs. You divide it by 5, and that's how many teaspoons of sugar you're getting. Every 5 grams of carbohydrate, everybody should memorize this, is a teaspoon of carbohydrate. Teaspoon of sugar, rather. Every 20 calories of carbohydrate is a teaspoon of sugar. The next question is, how many teaspoons of sugar are in the bloodstream? I calculated it out because they don't use that measure. They use millimoles per deciliter, and it came out to less than a teaspoon. I'm looking at it. I must be off by a factor of 100 because they're telling you carbs, carbs, carbs. Carbs are sugar. They all go to glucose, pretty much mostly all of them. Fiber doesn't, but fiber's not food for a human being. It's food for a termite. And I was correct. 7 to 9/10 of a teaspoon. That's the 70 to 90 milligrams per deciliter. Every diabetic that's reading their glucose knows. And it's, my goodness, there's less than a teaspoon of sugar in the bloodstream, and these people are telling you to eat 50 to 100, if not more. Where's that go? Well, there's something called an insulin response. Goes to body fat. They gave us the obesity epidemic. You can thank our government and our medical profession for turning all Americans today into wildebeest. It's unbelievable. So I started there. Luckily, I found Otto Warburg's work, big in cancer, Nobel Prize winner, top physiologist of the 20th century. And he stressed oxygen transfer to the cell, not the bloodstream, but the cell. So I started looking at the cell, and it's lipid, which means it's a fat-based component in the membrane, and the membrane is everything. So, for example, insulin is a hormone. Okay, it's protein-based. So insulin resistance is the biggest thing today in diabetes. I've never seen one physician, one nutritionist explain why there's such a thing as insulin resistance. Well, the insulin, the same amount, can't get into the cell. It's bouncing off. Why? Because the membrane structure is faulty. And this is the adulteration of all the oils we're eating. Everywhere on the internet, everywhere you read, plant seed oils are toxic and poisonous. It's a half-truth. They are, if they're processed, adulterated, they're poison. But it's dichotomy. Poison on the left, if they're organic, unprocessed, they're essential. EFA, essential fatty acid. I don't like the term acid. It's a chemical structure. It's not like it's hydrochloric acid. It's going to burn you or anything. But I like parent essential oils. So there's 2 types. Parent omega-6, prevalent throughout the entire food supply in nature. Almost everything is loaded parent omega-6. So anybody telling you we're getting too much omega-6 needs to reanalyze what they're saying. Because when you calculate in the body, it's 12 to 1. Your average organ is 4 to 1 parent omega-6 to parent omega-3. The muscles are 6.5 to 1 in favor of parent omega-6. And the fat stores are 20 to 1. So when you do a little algebra, it's about 12 to 1. So anybody saying we're getting overdosed on omega-6, we're getting overdosed on processed poison omega-6. And Otto Warburg hit it right in the head. Cancer is caused by lack of cellular oxygenation, and the omega-6 is a cellular oxygenator. It has the same partial pressure as hemoglobin, so it can disassociate and give oxygen into the cell. That's why once you start taking Easy Trek as my medical food, you get so much oxygen you can get by on 4 or 5 hours of sleep a day, every day, and just energize your body. And that's the biggest problem in America. And that's the proof of the oxygenation. And then the extra healing people get is incredible. So there's 2 EFAs, parent omega-6, parent omega-3. Can't get either made by the body. You have to get them from food. It's like minerals. We can't make them. We have to get them from food. We can't make vitamin C. We have to get it from food. We can recycle vitamin C, which most people don't understand. That's why we don't need to make it. But with the EFAs, and they don't convert, you can't take omega 3 and have it go to omega 6. Chemical structure, I don't care about it. I just care there's two classes, and the omega 3 side is very, very weak. So anybody telling you, oh, you need a ton of fish oil, which is a derivative. So you have parents and offspring. The offspring are technically termed derivatives, and that's like DHA, EPA, and we get enough of it. The half-life in the brain of DHA is 2.5 years. What? 2.5 years a molecule of DHA stays there. So how can it without going bad? Because we have antioxidants. But what happens is people take fish oil supplements, body goes, what are you doing? Because fish oil turns rancid at 70 degrees. They don't tell you this. I don't care how pristine it is, how great it is. None of that matters. And by the way, fish oil is antifreeze for a fish. I throw you in frigid water, you freeze into an ice cube. So the only way nature can have a fish not do that, it's either alcohol or long-chain fatty acids. So it does the fatty acids. But Dr. Rowan, very, very good integrative medicine doc, told me, Brian, there's 14 times less DHA in a warm water fish at 70 degrees than there is at 30 degrees. What are we? We're 98.6. All the fish oil you're taking turns rancid immediately if the antioxidants didn't rush down from your brain. What do we have? Alzheimer's epidemic, dementia epidemic. Complete correlation to the fish oil experiment that failed, because when you take it, all the antioxidants come out from the brain and go, what is this person doing? We got to protect this, but now your brain isn't protected. So it's so simple to fix it. And there's 70 million capillaries in the brain. What are they made of? All parent omega 6. And the capillaries where the oxygenation takes place and the nutrient transfer takes place. That's Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
And they're all looking at beta amyloid. Beta amyloid is simply a result of the cell falling apart in the brain, because you have 100 trillion cells, tons of neurons, everything. They all have a bilipid membrane. So picture two circles together, and that's the membrane. And 25 to 33%, a quarter to a third, are the parent EFAs. They are the brick and mortar of every cell in your body. So anybody listening, if you're wasting money on vitamins and a host of other stuff, the unprocessed EFAs are the most fundamental thing, because they're the brick and mortar of 100 trillion cells. If you don't have that, picture a house. The structure's rotting away, but you're painting it well. That's not
Brian,
going to do it. Yeah.
In your book, didn't you say that the cell membranes literally turn to plastic and it prevents the oxygen and
you got it.
Yeah.
That's insulin resistance, and that's why all the hormones don't work. They hit a hunk of plastic. How are you going to get through? They can't. And if you look at an adulterated oil and why the food processors do it, so the oil doesn't go bad. You can't have pasta and bagels and cereal smelling like fish that's gone bad. Nobody would buy it. So they chemically adulterate it so it doesn't work. It doesn't go bad. It's like margarine and hydrogenated oil you can put out in the garage for a year and nothing touches it. No bug, no mold. It's not food. It's a plastic, okay? So that's the proof. If it doesn't go bad, you don't want it. And this is why you need new EFAs every day. So the goal is, from the food, we get them, but the food processors did a great job. They were told, make the food so it doesn't go bad. They were never told, make it so we don't kill people and get them unhealthy. So you can't blame them. And then you can't blame the doctors, because they don't know. They don't even know what an EFA is. They get no lipid science. Dr. Ron, you could tell us that. There's no lipid instruction in medical school at all. Even in pharma companies, they don't have anybody like me. I've been told by top cardiologists, Brian. There's nobody that looks at physiologic lipids. They just look at what's in the bloodstream, and that's not sufficient. That's just floating around. That's not what your tissues and organs and cells are made of. So I'm a theoretical physiologist. I look at the cell. And for example, people yap about EFAs and act like they're an expert. My first question is, you think you're a big expert? What's in a clogged artery? I've never had anybody get it right. It's known in 2000. Here, I'll put on the reading glasses so I can tell you. Here's something. 2009, the American Heart Association. Omega-6 has powerful anti-inflammatory properties that counteract any pro-inflammatory properties. It's naive understanding of biochemistry to say omega-6 is inflammatory. This was published in Circulation, one of the top cardiology journals in America, in 2009. So they have no memory. Now it's horrible. 2009, it was wonderful.
But didn't you say that 85% of the clogged arteries of the heart are due to the adulterated omega-6 oils?
Yes, it is very, very good. And
I memorized your book.
you got that. And let me tell you something. I just sit here. 1% of a teaspoon of adulterated oils overwhelms every cell in your body by a factor of 30,000. So I do martial arts.
Repeat that. Repeat that.
Just 1% adulteration processing of a teaspoon of oil overpowers every cell in your body by 30,000. Wow. So I do martial arts, but you put 30,000 people against me, I don't care. They're going to kill you. Now, luckily, they don't all go into the cell, but this is what we have to fight all the time. And everybody's eating 1% screwed up oils, if not way more, because it's 100%, at least 50% screwed up at every fast food restaurant, even the fine dining restaurants. But what people need to know is cholesterol is the transporter of the oils, okay? So it's a good first cut, statins, lower LDL-C. Problem with that is you're lowering the adulterated oils, which is great, but you're also lowering the good ones. Wow. So that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is put in the good stuff. Now here's the 85% arterial clog. That's one thing. It's adulterated parent omega-6. All the cooking oils, the sunflower oil, the safflower oil, the canola oil, the soy oil, all of those oils get adulterated, and 85% of the clog is that. But Brian, I've been told it's all saturated fat. How much saturated fat's in there? Zero.
Now,
saturated fat.
Zero.
Yeah, Brian.
Zero saturated fat. Because if you know any biochemistry, a saturated fat has no bonding positions to attach to anything. Now, when was this analyzed? I'm putting on the glasses again. Here's the articles, because I'm the only one that gives you science. Dietary, polyunsaturated fatty acids, and compositions of human aortic plaque. So they analyzed the plaque, the clog. Lancet, world's premier medical journal, 2000. 25 years ago that was known. One's not enough. Identification, quantification of unique fatty acid, oxidative products, and human atherosclerotic plaque using high-performance lipid chromatography. Annals of Biochemistry. What physicians are reading that? Nobody. These are the journals I live in. 2 not enough for you. I'll give you a third. Structure elucidation of oxygenated lipids in human atherosclerotic lesions. Atherosclerotic means you have heart disease lesions. Eicosanoids. Eicosanoids is the study of the derivatives of the parent oils. So it's a whole science. There's journal after journal and medical textbook, but physicians learn none of this in medical school. And after they graduate, they never touch a medical textbook again. Yeah. Those days are over. They're too inundated by the patients. I can't even blame them.
So Brian, two things.
Yes, sir.
this is great information about no saturated fats and
None.
calories. And I want to go further with that, but since you brought that up, is there any objective study, any kind of scan or anything that shows that replacing the adulterated with Parent Essential has any effect?
Absolutely.
Whoop. NSA, just come off the air.
All that here, now you're back.
If they go to Brian, B as in boy, RIAN, P as in parent, ESKIN.com, there is a machine. It's called digital plethysmography, and it detects stiff arteries. You put your finger in like pulse oximeter, they measure the oxygen in every doctor's office or hospital, except this measures blood flow. And the answer is yes, gives you 3 outputs. The amount of cloggage throughout the entire arterial tree, the big arteries like the aorta, the transverse arteries, the periphery arteries, which is PAD, which is the peripheral artery disease. That's huge today. And it measures the flexibility of your arteries. I smoke cigars. It's okay because I told my life insurance company I do. I don't mislead people. 2 to 3 a day now because I wanted to see how bad you can be taking Easy Trek, the medical food I developed. I come out the arterial system of a 25-year-old on a scale of 1 to 7 for plaque, 7 being you're going to have a heart attack tomorrow, you have no blood flow at all, you're 100% occluded. 1 meaning you have none, I'm a 1. So 1 to 2 is excellent. I'm a 1, as good as you can get. Arterial flexibility is 95 to 98 out of 100. So I have the arteries of a balloon, which is what you want. We scanned an MD who is younger than me. She came out of 2 out of 100, meaning she has the arterial flexibility of a straw. I said, you're going to have a heart attack within a year. She could have had one last month. I don't know, but she was petrified. So there is a machine. The cardiologists don't have it. They're measuring blood pressure, which is next to worthless. By the time you have high blood pressure, you're years and years into it, and it's not definitive enough. There's not just one blood pressure. You don't even want blood pressure. You want arterial cloggage with this machine. It's superb. So we're a distributor for them, and it's exciting. Past couple of weeks, we sold 3. So doctors are getting on board with it. It's not expensive. It's like $4,200. And every patient over 30 or 40 should get scanned. And had great news 2 weeks ago. 85-year-old fellow had a scale 33%, 1/3, a 6 out of 7, meaning a third of his arterial tree was horribly clogged. We reversed it by 2 grades from a 6 to a 4, 4 months, taking just 2 teaspoons of Easy Trek, the organic, proper ratio of the essential oils with parents and derivatives. A key component is in the formulation of Easy Trek. It's a medical food. You can read about it. The biggest anti-inflammatory there is because there's a pathway called delta-6 desaturase. And in a pile of diseases, about 9 of them, diabetes and heart disease included, has an impairment, which means you can never get enough anti-inflammatory. So 9 diseases are tied to inflammation, even cancer. Weinberg, the PhD, that term, coined the term oncogene, reversed it a decade ago, saying there's not enough mutations to cause cancer. Inflammation takes center stage, the rewriting of the textbook, and the cancer doctors don't even know his work. It's tragic. It's just like you were saying in the beginning.
Brian, Dr. Professor,
Yeah.
Look, let's go back a second and talk about there is a physician that I have lost all respect for, but he keeps writing about linoleic acid. Linoleic, that's all he talks about, and LDL.
Yep.
And now cardiologists, all they care about is lowering LDL. They don't
I
care
know.
whatever. So could you address those two issues, please?
Yeah. Well, LDL, again, it's a big structure. It's the transporter of the oil. So here's the cholesterol molecule. Picture a magnet. That's how the oils go. It's called a lipoprotein in the bloodstream. You have to have a protein solubilized with water because it won't, oil and water don't mix, right? It would float. So lipoprotein is the way you do it. LDL by itself, lowering it is next to worthless to prevent heart disease. At best, it's 80 to 100 patients over 5 years on a statin to prevent one event. That's a 98.5% failure. To put that in perspective, I make 100 iPhones, 99 blow up in your face, and you tell the engineer, great job, because one of them works. You'd be fired yesterday. I'm an electrical engineer, okay? In the medical profession, it's rah, rah, rah. And I tell doctors this and go, yeah, Brian, that's why everybody needs to be on a statin. I said, wait a minute. That's not fixing the problem that it fails. What are you talking about? And and what I tell people and colleagues is they have nothing else in their arsenal. Saving one or 1.5 people out of 100 is better than zero, isn't it? My answer is yeah. But you don't know what I know. And you try telling about this. Physicians don't know lipids and they won't learn it. That's the biggest frustration I have today. The physicians I get is 1 out of 100 that cares like you do and will take the time to learn lipids because I have extensive writing. You can look at it on my website, won't cost you a nickel, brianpeskin.com. There's videos, there's papers, and I give you the actual quotes. And of course, I translate it. If it's technical, you see where it comes from. Nobody else does this because they make things up. There was actually a huge internet fellow for health, the biggest one, I won't give his name because it's an embarrassment, was lying and misleading people about the structure of cardiolipin, which is the mitochondria inner membrane, saying it was all supposed to be omega-3 when none of it's supposed to be omega-3. If there's omega-3 in there, it's because it got displaced by all this fish oil. Here's one more thing on heart disease, and then we can move on. Anybody taking fish oil, throw it down the toilet. 1986, anybody with atherosclerosis, meaning existing heart disease, prostacyclin decrease goes down 42%. It's almost cut in half. What's prostacyclin? Your body's natural statin. It's a natural blood thinner keeping platelets apart. This was in the New England Journal of Medicine, which is America's #1 journal. So now I can't even give physicians the out because if they're not even reading their own #1 medical journal, God help us all. And the reason they're not is they're too tired. They're too overwhelmed by overflowing offices with everybody being so sick, they can't even keep up with the science. And the last thing I want to say, and then happy to answer more questions, studies aren't science, okay? We need more studies. There was somebody on TV that I typically like them, PhD in nutrition. Studies are open to misinterpretation. The doctors don't know statistics like you should, like I do. They even let them use the wrong statistics. And the rationale is, well, it's too complicated to have them use the right ones. Stanton Glatt said this, Glatz, professor of medicine and statistical genius, said this. It's too complicated. They won't understand it, so we let them use the wrong measure. Did you ever hear of anything so stupid in your life?
No. You know what?
So people are getting misled with statistics, and they just don't know it, and the doctors fall for it hook, line, and sinker. like with statins. NNT, number needed to treat, is 98.5, which means you need to treat 98 people to get one result. Insulin, you need to treat one. The lower the number, the better. I give you insulin, everybody's blood sugar goes down. So you want a low. It's unbelievable. But Easy Trek, the composition of these oils for anybody, disease disorders with an impaired delta-6 desaturase and chronic inflammation. PGE1, prostaglandin series 1, is at the top of the chain. Nobody talks about it at all. It's the most important. Everything comes after. It's before arachidonic acid. And this is where, oh, it's bad. Arachidonic acid is bad. No, it's not. It's critical. 10% arachidonic acid's in your brain. And it's 100 to 1 parent omega-6 to parent omega-3 in your brain. You're never told this. DHA is 14% in your brain. But like I told you, it lasts for 2.5 years there. 5 milligrams a day is all that's going into the brain to replenish it. What's 5 milligrams? Well, typical fish oil capsule's 1,000. Typical amount of DHA in there is 600 milligrams. 600 divided by 5 is 120. You could be getting 120 times physiologic overdose of DHA in the brain on a daily basis. To put that in perspective, take 100 aspirin, call me in the morning. Don't, being facetious, you'll die. But that is what people are unknowingly doing. That's what one capsule. You have the medical profession telling you to take 4 grams a day. And article after article shows the horrors of what happens when you do that. It's like with prostacyclin, the body's natural statin, going down by 42%, close to cut in half with fish oil. Another article showed you take fish oil, the anti-inflammatory PGE1's effectiveness is immediately cut off. Fish oil is a poison. Look in the mirror, everybody. If you don't see a fish looking back at you with gills, you got a big problem. You don't need it. We've been conned.
Doesn't the fish oil also lower your CoQ10 level, which then weakens?
I've been told that. I don't look at that, but I've been told that. Fish oil is food for a fish. It's a processed food.
Right.
You can eat
fish. Already adulterated.
It's adulterated and it's processed. So you can eat fish. Most of the oil's gone unless you're eating sushi, but you're not eating a pound of sushi. So you cook fish. And it even was in the medical journals, the less fatty fish are better. So you want codfish. I eat codfish all the time. It's great. Tuna fish, I drain the heck out of it with water. You don't want the oil. Salmon, the same thing. You can cook it, get rid of the oil. The less oil, the better. The exact opposite of what we're told by the health and medical profession. It's a travesty. We are unknowingly killing ourselves. I tell people we're a perfect Ferrari running on the wrong fuel, like diesel fuel. You know, it's horrible.
Well, Dr. Jeremy, should we go on, or should we save it for another time?
I just had a couple questions for you. Number one, on average, if a person with heart disease, clogged arteries, starts taking your Easy Trek, what's an average time to clear out the arteries? Like 4 months, 6 months?
Well, we got the 4 months with going down 2 grades. That's the first quantitative analysis I have, because this machine we just started using, they changed the software where before all I could tell was increased blood flow, but I couldn't tell if it was from the arterial flexibility being improved or the cloggage being decreased. Now you get separate numbers for both. So we have proof that it's reversing it. We also have proof that it reverses hard plaque, coronary artery calcium, CAC, which is the #1 indicator of a heart attack, way above cholesterol. So we reverse both areas of plaque, hard and soft. So it's exciting as heck. And you can see the scans at brianpeskin.com. They're there.
So the cholesterol is not a disease. It's just a reaction to the body.
Yeah, and here's the other big one I've never seen anybody but me say. there's no cholesterol sensor in the bloodstream.
Right.
What? It's a genetic mistake. No, it's called a dependent variable. When everything else is what it is, cholesterol is what it is. And the interesting thing is, once people start taking Easy Trek and the right organic oils, cholesterol goes down. Why? Because it doesn't need as much. Because the good oils overpower the bad. Dr. Lanz in 1990 showed this beautiful experiment. So it takes about 6 months to get rid of most of the bad oils in you when you put in the right ones, and you need less cholesterol to transport the good ones to the cell. It's as simple as that.
Also, didn't you say that your oil is also antiviral, very effective against?
Yeah, our body has natural viralness, and the lipid surrounds the virus, and it's gone. It's denatured. It can't do anything. So we have natural protection, and people aren't told there's antibodies, and there's also cellular immunity. And this is the cytokine storm that everybody heard from COVID. When you get that, cytokines mean your body comes in and tries to get rid of this stuff. You don't want a storm. Everybody goes, oh, I need a stronger immune system. No, you have an overactive immune system. It's the opposite. I get real irritated by people that don't know what they're talking about. Anti-inflammatory tones it down. So if I go outside and I'm allergic to grasses, when I got to Houston 25 years ago, I'd be sneezing like heck. That's an overreactive immune system. That's gone now. I used to be bedridden 3 times a year. I couldn't even add. It was that bad. That's all gone. No problem. So your body can fix itself in the majority of cases. All you got to do is give it the right fuel, and you got to start with the oils, because the cell membrane is actually the brain of the cell. That's a great intro for, if you want to stop now, we can continue this.
One last question. Is your product good for pets?
Phenomenal for pets, especially dogs. Dogs are omnivores just like us. All the pets are living shorter lives because of the processed food too. So thank goodness there's a lot of companies getting into unprocessed or less processed food. You can see them on TV, on the internet, but absolutely good for cats and dogs. Yes.
Well, we had Dr. Will Wong on a couple of weeks ago, and he said veterinary medicine is so much more advanced than human medicine. It's incredible.
Yes, it is. The animal can't talk back, so you can make the case the physician has to be better. The animal can't talk to you. It requires great diagnostic skills.
All right. I've taken some notes. Let me see if I'm right here. If I'm not, correct me. Damaged oil can ripple through every system in your body.
Yes.
Today, you actually challenged more than a half a century of nutritional dogma that's out there.
It's all dogma, based on no science at all.
No, exactly. So when the cell can't breathe, disease
cancer
begins. All right.
Otto Warburg showed cancer is spontaneously induced, 35% decreased cellular oxygenation.
Yeah.
And it could be intermittent, and it takes years. So cancer does not just come on. You've had it for years. You didn't know it. You don't feel it. You don't see it. I stand on the shoulders of the biggest genius that's ever lived in cancer. And we figured out how to cellular oxygenate, along with Dr. Campbell, who wrote a great paper in 76 with cystic fibrotic kids, explaining the cellular oxygenation. Again, nobody picked up on that either. It's sinful. Just like you said at the opening of the show, Dr. Ron. We don't need more studies. We need to understand what we already have seen published. That's the problem. We keep going on and on. Another study. You don't need anything more. It's all there. 300,000 volumes at the Jesse Jones Library in Houston at MD Anderson. 300,000 volumes. You don't need any more. Going back to 1850. I had my hand on it. So all of this is known. It's not understood, and it's not utilized. That's the problem. People need to be hit over the head today.
One more point. And I think if our listeners get this, they'll be on their way. Fish oil is not your heart's best friend. Think twice.
It's a poison. It's the actual opposite. It is a poison. if you have existing heart disease, it makes it worse. It cuts prostacyclin, the antiplatelet production that your body does, by almost half. You got to be out of your mind. Fish oil does nothing. And the whole reason they said it was good, it displaces the horrible parent omega-6.
So if our listeners can't understand what you're saying,
Well, they
You want
should.
answers? I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
see, there's some people that cannot handle the truth.
I know.
Well,
I can't help them.
the interesting thing is that fish oil basically will make cancer grow faster.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's documented. The other interesting thing,
It turns rancid immediately.
Yeah.
And there was a big experiment that came out, published. People taking fish oil had half the energy in their mitochondria to pump the heart.
yeah,
So
And-
fish oil leads to congestive heart failure.
Yeah.
And what they said was the parent omega-6 rescued the mitochondria from the fish oil. This is their words. Nobody has seen this. I've never seen this article referenced anywhere, and it should have been all over the news. Zero.
well, interestingly, I had a case of glioblastoma in a medical doctor.
Yeah.
And his oncologist told him to go on vacation because you're dead within a year.
Right.
And
Horrible. Yep.
With my technology, I defined the splinters. Well, one of the remedies that I used was your oils, and it took 15 months. And I have the before and after MRIs. His cancer disappeared.
Wow. Extremely rare. Great job.
I know. Thank you.
Great job.
But your oil is like magic. You know, I say statistics are like a
Thanks.
bikini. The things they reveal are interesting, but the things they hide are vital.
You're absolutely right. See, here's the problem. Whenever you do a study, you have a 5% error rate, meaning the experiment fails, the study fails, but it looks like it's true. So that's why you see, fish oils had 15,000 studies. Well, they need 15,000 to get 750 to look like they're successful when they actually failed. That's the price you pay. Why? Because you need a lot more people and a lot more studies, and it would cost way too many billions of dollars too much. So you're allowed to go with a 5% small error rate, but that only means you do a lot of studies. You get one or two that look like they succeeded, but they failed. They mislead everybody.
Yeah, you're trying to disrupt a $29 billion a year industry with statin drugs. That's why they don't buy it.
Well, if you could take a product that failed 98% of the time and made $15 billion a year on it, I'd take my hands off to you too. Hell of a job. Now you're not helping your patients, but they're public companies. What's a success in pharma? Money, sales.
Absolutely.
If the patient gets helped, wonderful. But if they don't,
I think that would make another show about relative risk versus absolute risk. Number needed.
there's so much. There's so much.
I mean, that could really be a rebel show on the health.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Because even the doctors, they see the term, but they don't really understand what it means.
Yeah, and they don't really they don't understand the endpoint of some studies.
No.
And they sometimes they change the endpoint before the study's over. So, look, with that, we've gone a little bit long, and I want to thank Professor Peskin for amplifying the truth, because there's no filters on this channel, no filters at all with Dr. Jerry and I.
My pleasure.
It is really, I've taken notes myself today. So with that, we'll close. We hope that our listeners, we have a new email address called therebels@mail.com. Therebels@mail.com. Any suggestions, any comments, we'll have Professor Peskin back again. Visit his website, ProfessorBrianPeskin.com. What is Professor?
No, it's just BrianPeskin.com. Just my name.com.
BrianPeskin.com.
That's it.
Spend a week there. Dr. Jerry has a nice website too. Go ahead, Jerry. What's yours?
Well, my philosophy is if you have somebody you don't like, give them fish oil.
Couldn't agree more.
Nice.
Everybody, we'll be back with the professor another time, but I hope you got as much of it as I have, and I've read everything he's written. I've talked to him multiple times over the last 5 years, so it's always a education. I want to wish our veterans and my fellow brothers out there, if we're going to have a show next week on Veterans Day, but to all you veterans, God bless you all, and we will talk to you next week.